What's going on, everyone? It's Bowles, and welcome back to another Manchester United match review. We've got to win. And it's our best performance of the season, obviously, and it's feels a lot better than last match review. That's all I can say. But anyway, before we get into the video and the match review and all that sort of stuff, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn notifications on so you don't miss when I go live in the future, and follow all my social media links in the description below. But Manchester United have won. Best performance of the season, obviously, with three very under par performances, to say the least. It was just good to. It was obviously a nervy start with the Luke Shaw own goal, but and then I sort of started thinking, oh, here we go. If we concede the goal early, is the team sort of, I don't know, like fold in a way and like just go downhill? But to their credit, they responded. They played pretty well. There were still times where we shake at the back. We didn't have that finishing touch going forward, but all in all, I thought it was a decent performance. It certainly gives us a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Makes us feel a bit better, I guess. After the last defeat, obviously losing 6-1 to Tottenham was just a terrible day. We all want to forget about that as Manchester United fans, but yeah, it was good. I thought a number of players had their best game for the season. I think Harry Maguire had his best game of the season. I thought he played pretty well. I thought Mata came in and played really well coming into the squad. I think Wan-Bissaka had his best game for the season. He's been very shaky to start the year. I think David De Gea was very good in the goal. I think that obviously Bruno did his thing as usual. I think Rashford had his best game in a long time, which was really good to see. And he was playing up front as well. He needed to fill that hole, obviously, with Cavani being still in quarantine, not being able to join the team as yet, and then Marcel having that 3-game suspension. But it was good to see him play a good game because, again, I was starting to get a bit concerned. I was just like, he hasn't performed for a long time, and he finally put a good performance together today. I think Van der Beek came and made an impact off the bench. I think Pogba made an impact off the bench. So yeah, it's good. Good performance all around. I think a number of players stood up. Obviously, Bruno missed his penalty as well, which is disappointing. His first time in like 20 penalties and his first penalty miss for Manchester United. It was coming. It was a poor penalty. It didn't have enough power. It didn't have enough placement. I know I couldn't have done any better. So no one, if anyone comments saying, "Oh, you couldn't have done any better," I know I couldn't have done any better. I would have shanked it and I would have missed it. I probably would have missed the goal. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But it was poor penalty. But it was good to see the response after for him to then score that goal. That was an amazing finish. Top right corner. It was so good. That move, that goal, that the Bruno goal with the Rashford, obviously the flick back and just the passing of everyone involved. That was the best team goal I've seen us score since the Brighton game last season, with like the Matic pass to Greenwood and then Greenwood to Bruno. That game last season at the end. It was the best team goal since then. We hadn't scored a goal like that all season, and it was good to see the crisp passing. And I haven't seen that for a long time from us. So it was again another positive sign to see. A lot more positives than negatives today. And obviously that was Bruno's first goal that was not a penalty. I think his last 7 goals were penalties. This is his first goal that he'd scored that wasn't a penalty. So that was good to see. He's an amazing player. I'm very, very happy with Bruno. Just continues to, like, a lot of players would have missed that penalty, and some players would have gone into their show and thought, "Oh, I missed the penalty. Damn it!" And just like Mr. Owell was me for the last half an hour or however long was left when he missed the penalty. But he thought, you know what? Next time I've got an opportunity, I'm going to put it in and make sure of it. And he did, and he put it right in the top corner. So just testament to the sort of player that he is, the character that he is. He's an amazing player, and I'm so glad he's on our team. And then the obviously negatives. There's a couple of negatives here. Obviously, we still did look shaky at the back. Obviously, there was times when Newcastle did get on top. I think St. Maximin caused problems in the first half for us. I think Wan-Bissaka started quite slow, but built into the game. I thought Maguire played well over 9 minutes. Made 1 or 2 mistakes, but that's fine. I guess. Obviously, we don't have the centre back depth to be able to bring someone in. I don't know if I would have personally played Maguire today. I'm glad we did because he ended up getting the goal for us, to the equaliser for us from the corner. Very good delivery again from Mata. And I don't know if I would have played him. I might have played, but then again, I don't know if I would have played Bailly. So I don't know if that's when Tuanzebe wasn't fit. I don't think for the game, wasn't in the squad. I don't know if they would. I don't know if you would have trusted someone like Mengi maybe to come in and make his first team debut. That might have been a possibility. That's something I was sort of thinking could shock everyone and could happen maybe, because Maguire obviously being sent off for England had a poor, very one of the worst performances I've ever seen from an individual player ever against Tottenham. I thought maybe we might have done something different. And at the end of the day, though, I'm glad that he started because obviously he scored the goal. The only problem, and then the other problem I had today was McTominay and Dan James. McTominay was there was just too many silly passes, too many missed tackles. They really annoyed me watching it. There was one tackle I remember where he should have easily won the ball and he didn't, and then Newcastle almost were in on goal with Callum Wilson. But so yeah, I wasn't very happy with that. And then Dan James part of me just thinks, what does he exactly do on the pitch? Because he sort of reminds me a bit of Lingard. Like he runs around. He's got very, very good work rate, but he doesn't have any finishing product at all. Every time he shoots, he doesn't have just enough. He doesn't have either enough power or he doesn't have the accuracy. Like he'll have one or the other, and he doesn't have both. He obviously started last season very, very well. Obviously scored his 3-4 goals in the first 4 or 5 games, but since then he hasn't scored for 30 matches in a row. And I'm going to reference Australian rules football because that's what I watch a lot. If a player isn't performing, they're not getting in the team. They need to go back to the under 23s or for obviously soccer term, or like the reserves comp of their team, and they've got to work their way back into the squad. I don't think Dan James has been able to work his way back into the squad. I don't think he's done enough to earn his spot in the squad. But then again, it's like, obviously Martial being injured. I don't know where Mason Greenwood was. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if he's sick. I don't know what happened, but I obviously would have played him if he was available. So I guess that he was just sort of the last resort there. And again, I don't know if Palestri, where he was, I think he might have been still quarantined, but again, I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think Dan James has done enough, especially in the last 12 months, which is disappointing. I was hoping that he was going to kick on after starting last season, but he just hasn't done that, which is disappointing. But hopefully he can turn it around and start and work his way back in the squad, because I certainly wouldn't be including him in the next starting 11. So it is what it is, unfortunately. And I've obviously also I'd put Matic in over McTominay, because I think Matic plays that role better, and McTominay just didn't quite have the performance and wasn't quite up to par. But there's the main point is today we got the 3 points. If we lost again today, we drew today, it would have been a win, draw, and two losses. But it's good to go 2-2. We're up to 6 points now. Right, and funny enough, we've got a game in hand. If we win that game, we're only 4 points off of the top of Everton in Everton. So, and I'm not saying we're going to win the title. So it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that that's where we are. So we're not actually too far off. Obviously, Liverpool struggled to start the season. Haven't had, they conceded 3 goals against Leeds. Leeds are a good team, but they still conceded 3 at home. Lost to Aston Villa, obviously 7-2. And then they drew with Everton 2-2. But Everton are a quality team. But yeah, so we're not too far. We're not far off of the top teams in terms of points, but in terms of quality, squad depth, everything like that, we're still quite a ways off of like Liverpool's and Man City's and stuff like that. So there you go. But that's it. So again, if you're watching live or on replay, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, leave your comments as well and I'll get to them as well. So Mikel Byrne, I hope I've said that name correctly. Rashford always should play alone with Bruno, Van der Beek or Mata behind. That 3-winger game of Liverpool does not suit us. We need to always have Cavani up front or Rashford up front. I do see your point, because I don't think we've got the quality of like Rashford have been struggling for quite a while on the wing. So I think this is good. I think it gives you confidence up. I think Martial's still our preferred option up front, and I still think he is our best option up front. And obviously Greenwood sort of has had good games, he's had some quiet games. But again, if we had Sancho, which I know that we all wish we did, but whatever, we move past that. If we had another quality winger, I think it'd be a lot. I think it'd be a lot better. But because we don't have a starting 11 that's strong enough, I don't think it supports that game. So yeah, I do agree. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe like a 4-4-2 of like a Cavani and a Rashford up front, or Cavani and Martial up front, and then putting like Greenwood and Rashford on the wings or something like that. I don't know, or do like because we did play like a bit of a sort of it was a weird formation today. I think it's still 4-3-3, but obviously we had Mata coming in. So it's a little bit like I don't know, like I don't know, but yeah. It's pretty much like a 4-2-3-1, I think, and then you just had Mata coming in. But Mata played very, very well today. I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps his spot in the starting line, because he did play quite well today. So there you go. So Mikel Byrne, Cavani up front and Rashford for James. Yeah, I'd be dropping James out of the starting line. We can't have Martial or Greenwood, otherwise midfield would be compromised. McTominay, Fred together always work. With McTominay and Fred, I don't mind Fred, but I'm not the biggest fan of McTominay at the moment. He hasn't quite put in good enough performances for me to be happy with putting him in the stand-up. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a Fred and Matic in the two holding midfielders, and then putting Bruno there. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that, but I'd probably keep McTominay at the bench until he can force his way with some good performances off the bench or wherever. But yeah, Cavani or Martial up front is the way that I would probably go anyway. But yeah, I do see your point about our midfield is compromised with that 4-3-3 Liverpool sort of style with the wingers and stuff like that. But is what it is. We don't pick starting 11. We just have to comment on it. So there you go. But let's get into the player rating before we do some Mikel Byrne again. So McTominay and Fred, when they start together, never lost a game. Is that true? Is that actually a stat? If that's a stat, then it's good. But I'm just not the biggest fan of McTominay's performances. But if McTominay and Fred are starting again and we're not losing games, then I guess you can't really ask for much more than that, really. So if that's the case, then you certainly do have a lot stronger point. So I apologise for that if that's the case. But there you go. But yeah, just in terms of McTominay, just individually, I'm not sure about his performances and stuff. It's just, I don't know, he just gives the ball away too much. His tackles don't stick. But I don't know how many games exactly Fred and Matic have played together. So I wouldn't mind seeing that combo and seeing how we go with that. But yeah, with Bruno and Pogba, it does leave our defense and our midfield quite compromised, and that's when we do consider a lot of goals. Because I think Pogba pushes too much forward. Matic, like, it was working last season, and I don't know if it still will. Pogba's not playing his best at the moment, so I don't know what's going to happen. So I don't know what kind of energy Fred and McTominay have. Maybe competition makes them better. Yeah, I think Fred's always got is always better, and I think he does rise to us. I don't think he's a starting 11 caliber player for Manchester United, but I think he still does his role. It's just, I don't know, there's something about McSauce that I just don't know. When Fred McTominay played alone, they draw, or when Fred and McTominay play alone, they draw or lose, but together not a single game lost. So yeah, again, I would like to know exactly how many games Matic and Fred have played together, but if they've lost sometimes or whatever. But and then it comes down to, again, the competition that Fred and McTominay have played. I don't know if we've played some big teams with those two in or whatever, but because as they go far back, and it'd be research which make this video quite a lot longer than what it needs to be. But yeah, you do raise a good point, and that's certainly a good point. So we let Ollie know that we haven't lost a game and put those two in. So there you go. But yes, well, let's get into the player ratings. So there's going to be some good ratings here today. PSG game, they won together. Yeah, okay, there you go. There's one game. So there you go. It's good. Well, hopefully they can do the same job against PSG in midweek, which I don't know if I hold too much hope. But you just got to cheer on the boys, and hopefully they get the job done. But anyway, player ratings. So we're going to start with David De Gea. I think he played really, really well today. I think he made some really good saves. I don't think that the goal was necessarily his fault. He was sort of like going the other way, and then it came off deflection. That was just a bit of a freak accident, I think. But I think De Gea gets a solid 7 from me. Could even be an 8, but I'll just keep it at a 7. But yeah, if you're watching live as well, so leave your play ratings in the live comments below, and I'll read them out as well as I go along. But so yeah, David De Gea 8, and so Michael Ben says 8, De Gea 8. Yep, yeah, 7 or 8. I think you can toss up between the two. Or geez, I don't know. I'll leave it at 7, but easily could put it up to an 8. So, but I'll give it a 7. Luke Shaw with the own goal was it was a freak accident. He couldn't do much. It was just a reflex and just went in. I think he had a solid game enough. I think he got beaten a couple of times, which is disappointing. But overall, I think he had a solid enough game. I think I'll give him a 6. Nothing too amazing, but had a solid enough game. Wan-Bissaka, I'll give him a 7. I think the goal he scored very good. I think he started off in the first half an hour quite shaky. St. Maximin did have his number, but as the game went on, I think he started getting to like the Wan-Bissaka we used to see last season. And then he obviously scored the goal, cracker finish as well in the top corner. Coming from a guy that hadn't scored a goal in his 50 Premier League games for us, that was a very good finish. So yeah, Wan-Bissaka 7. There you go. Shaw 6 or 5. Yep, agree with that one. Then you got Lindelof. There's a couple of times he just passes that he didn't quite make. I'll give him. I think I'll stay a 6 as well. Be a little bit more positive. Give these guys a bit more positive. But I'll give him a 6. Could be a 5, but I'll stick to a 6. Just did his job. Didn't really have any bad mistakes or anything like that. I think Harry Maguire gets a 7 from me. I think Maguire still made a couple of errors pushing forward too much, but I think at the end of the day, he scored the goal, important for his confidence, well, with everything going on, and just played a solid game. So Maguire 7.5. Yeah, I would usually give him a 7.5, but I usually just try and stick it to like solid numbers. So I'll give him a 7, but yeah, 7 or 8, I think you can, again, but I'll give him a 7. Then we move to McTominay. I think 4 for me. I'll give him a 5. Give him a 5 because 6 is average, right? I'll give McTominay a 5. Just a few loose balls just gave way too easily. Just some missed tackles he didn't quite make, which is disappointing. But 5 for me. McTominay 9. Really 9? I think isn't it a bit high? Geez, there's a few people I would have given that'd be getting close to 8 and 9s that I'd be giving man the match. But if you give McTominay 9, he must be a man the match, mate. So there you go. Each their own. That's for sure. That's right. You can give him a 9. I certainly won't hold anything against you if you're giving him a 9. That's for sure. Then McTominay off the ball, rock solid. He's man the match. Scott. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Off the ball, yeah, he's rock solid, but like his positioning, but he just doesn't stick those tackles and some passes. But there you go. Yeah. Who have we got next? We have Fred. I think Fred was solid today. I think I'll give Fred a 7. I think he played quite well. Getting around the field, his work rate's always quite high. Made some good passes. He certainly knows how to put a challenge in, that's for sure. So won the ball back a number of times. And that's why I would like to see Fred and Matic play together. I would be interested to see how that goes. But 7 for me. Fred 7, yeah, agreed. Bruno, man the match for me. And here's why. It was a three-way sort of toss-up between, I think, Rashford, Mata, and Bruno, with De Gea and Maguire quite close as well. I give Bruno an 8 because he missed the penalty, so he can't get a 9. I was missing the penalty again. As I said, he could have gone into his shell, didn't have to do anything, but he came out, he scored the goal, put in top corner, and then he put the ball over for Rashford to get the assist at the very end. So, and he is at the heart of everything we do going forward. And the commentator said during the broadcast, they just said that after he missed the penalty, they said, it's no surprise that his numbers have started to slow down and yada, yada, yada. And I thought, hang on, it's been one game that he hasn't scored or assisted yet. So just hold on. And literally after they said that, goal and assist, bang, bang, to finish the game. So he gets it done every game and he knows what to do. So Good performance, Bruno, and my man the match, he gets an 8. Juan Mata, he gets an 8 as well. I think a lot of people are going to say Mata played okay. I think Mata was brilliant. I think his link-up play with Bruno was first class. I think that he timed his runs inside perfectly. He linked up with Rashford and Dan James and all that. And I think he had a very good game. And that was one of the better games I've seen for a long time for Matt. And he's been a very solid, rock-solid player for us since he's come. He just hasn't been playing his correct position. Obviously, his correct position's a number 10 just in behind. He's been playing on a wing essentially his whole career here, which is a bit unfortunate because I think if he played just in behind, I think that we would have seen a lot better results, and I think he would have been in starting 11 a lot more. But obviously, if he didn't play in the number 10, I don't know if we would have got Bruno and whatever. So I'm happy. That's fine. So, but Mata gets an 8 for me. So Bruno, so Fred 7, Bruno 8, Mata 7. Yeah, it's good. I'm glad that I'm saying and you're agreeing with me, and we're actually getting the same sort of things, except for Mctominay, because you see you got a 9. As I said, each their own. Everyone can have an opinion, and I certainly can see where you're coming from. Dan James, I'll give him a 4. I just don't know exactly. Like, again, his work rate, his work rate's great. I love it, but again, it's like it's a little bit like Lingard. Like, you can buzz around like a mosquito on the field, but on the pitch, but you've got to be able to do more than that. If you're a Manchester United player, you've got to be able to have that quality going forward, and especially as a winger as well. You've got to have the quality with the crosses coming in, with your shots coming. He would just sort of cut inside, and then he would shoot, but he would shoot into players blocking it. And it's like, what are you doing? And then he did some skill movements. Like, James, you don't have those skills to be able to get past the people. Like, he tried skilling and almost fell over doing step overs. It's like, you're not Greenwood, you're not Bruno, you're not those like Martial, you're not those, and Rashford, not those sort of guys that can do that going forward. Miko and James is not United quality. Yeah, and I agree. He's not United quality at the moment, and will he ever be? I don't know. He's still very young, but I don't know. There's something that lacks there, that it's just that finishing quality, just the decision making are the two things for me that just. If he get decision making and his finishing better, then we've got a good player, because his work rate is great, and credit him for that. He does work very hard off the ball, like Lingard has. But again, we've complained about Lingard for a while and said that he doesn't have the quality to be a Manchester United player. I think James is starting to fall into that category, and I hope that he can turn it around. But he shouldn't be starting in the starting 11. Again, I don't know where Greenwood was. We didn't have any other options, which is why we needed more players added in the transfer market for more squad depth, because then we could have brought someone in. Obviously, Cavani as well not being there didn't help. I think if Martial was there, I could have seen something like, if we had Cavani and Martial, I could have seen something like Cavani up front, Martial on the right or on the left, and then Rashford on the right, or something like that. Or even like Mata on the right and put Cavani up front. Or I don't know, but obviously we didn't have them, so we can't really talk about that too much. So, he has started his position. He starts his position. He done nothing. Yeah, no, yeah. I know he just doesn't do enough for me. Ollie has been not nice to James. Cavani is in, so James has no more place. Yeah. I think James will move back to the bench, and if Greenwood comes in the squad, then I don't know if he's even in the squad at the moment. But yeah, I think Ollie's given him a few too many chances, which I see it as positive, like giving the young guys a go. But Greenwood forced his way into the starting 11 when Rashford was with Van Gaal, forced himself into starting 11. Rooney, back in the day when we signed him, forced his way into the starting 11. We've had young guys force their way into starting 11, and they've kept their place because they've earned their place. I don't think James has earned his place to be able to be starting many games for us. But again, as I said, we didn't really have too many other options. So it is what it is. And then Rashford up front, he gets an 8 as well. I think Rashford played very, very well. And he was one of the better players on the field today. He certainly could have got man the match for a lot of people. He was probably second, I think. 2 assists and a goal. As I said, his best performance his best performance since he got injured, because before he got injured, he was very, very good. He was one of the best wingers in the world based on form. And I thought he was performing very well. And then he got injured. He's come back. all the stuff he's done off the pitch is amazing. He's an incredible human being for the platform that he is at the moment, and doing what he's doing is incredible. But we've got to obviously base his performance on the pitch, and they haven't been good enough for Manchester United since he's come back. But today was a good step in the right direction. I would like to see if he stays up front while Martial's injured, or if we bring Cavani in, or what we do. It'd be interesting to see. But I hope that if he does get moved back on the wing, he can keep this form going. Because if he can keep this form going, and we got Greenwood firing, we've got Martial firing, and then Bruno firing as well, I think that we can start building something again from the ground up. Because obviously our last year essentially just got wiped because we didn't invest in the squad over the last transfer window. So there you go. So Rashford 8, yep. Green any day over James, yeah, 100%. Due to the last 10 minutes, I give Rashford 8. Otherwise, till 80 minutes, it was 5. I think that it would have been probably a 6 for me if it wasn't for his goal and assist, because I still think he's still linked up with a lot of people. It was just his finishing product, which is always the problem that has been with Rashford. Has always been his finishing has been the issue. He hasn't been able to finish properly. That's been his knock for a few years now, that he hasn't been able to finish. He's got all the skill in the world, and I'm trying to think. His ceiling is sky high. He can go and be one of our best ever players if he puts his head down and get better at finishing. But that's just the thing that holds him back at the moment. So, but yeah, up until 80 minutes, I do agree he wasn't obviously at an 8. But obviously, with that, I think that his running goes up. But Pogba came on. Pogba could have put Van der Beek in to get Van der Beek's first goal in the Premier League. Second goal. He already scored for us. But again, that was a sort of a goal that sort of didn't really mean too much. But he could have scored his second goal for us in the Premier League. But it was a poor ball by Pogba. I think he still came in and had an impact, but I just don't know. He's a world-class player, and he plays insane for France, but he just doesn't quite have that same I don't know. It's not commitment. I don't know. He just doesn't have that same level that he gets to when he plays for us. I don't know if it's the way we play. I don't know if it's just him wanting to go to Real Madrid and focused on other teams, which he shouldn't really be. Because if you play for Manchester United, you shouldn't be thinking of anything else other than Manchester United. But that's what Pogba's been like since he's been here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm baffled that he doesn't get up to the level. Like, look at Bruno. Bruno's come in from day one, bang. He just assist, goal, just involved in everything we do forward. And Pogba's had his probably a dozen or so really good games, and the one obviously that everyone thinks of is the Man City derby when we came back from 2-0 down. But besides a few games here or there, he hasn't taken a game by the scruff of the neck like he should be able to, and he's got the skill to be able to. But he just doesn't do it near enough for us. So I think Van der Beek came on and played really well. I was very impressed with his passing more than anything. His linking up with Bruno and Pogba when they came on was very, very good, and was very good to see. But yeah, so actually, I should have said Pogba gets 5. Stock standard 5 for subs. I think Van der Beek, I think I bumped him up to a 6. I was impressed with his passing, and he came on and he did have an impact on the game, even in limited time, which is my one knock on Ollie. I wish that he didn't make the subs 10 or so minutes earlier, but again, can't do much about that. It's his decision. And then the final sub, Matic, came on with a few minutes ago, so 5, but so he couldn't really do much. He just came on to shore things up, but obviously we scored our few goals and got the third and fourth, and then we didn't really need to shore anything up really too much. But so Cavani and Rashford must start. Sadly, Martial and Greenwood have to miss out because we have to put midfielder in. I do see your point, but I think that Cavani's got to, because again, Cavani was on the essentially the verge of retirement, and he came in with only a few teams wanting, and we got him. And again, I'm glad we got him now. He's a Manchester United player. I'm going to support him 100%. But I think Martial's done more that either one, Cavani's got to earn that place off of Martial, or 2, we should be doing something like Martial on a wing, Rashford on a wing, Cavani up front, and then you can rotate and you can put Greenwood in on some games and you can put Mata in on some games, and then you can all of a sudden start rotating. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with that. With obviously Greenwood. But again, I don't know if Greenwood's injured. I don't know if he was sick. I don't know what was going on, but he wasn't in the squad today. So There you go. So Pogba 5, Van Dijk 6. Yeah, Matic 3. I just don't like Matic. Yeah, I think we have to move on from Matic eventually. Excuse me. Obviously, he's getting quite old now. I think Partey was a guy that we probably would have been a decent signing for us. Obviously, Declan Rice maybe in a year or two. Maybe someone like that. Camavinga for he's obviously an amazing talent. Should have got someone like we should have got Bellingham, but again, I could go on this for days and come up with all these options. But we do need, I think, we need obviously CDM. We need another centre back. We need another right wing, and we need some more squad depth. That's what we need. So, but yeah, Manchester gets a 5 just because we didn't really have much time to do too much. But I do get your point. Yeah, Matic is getting old, and I know a lot of people don't know Matic. He's quite boring, just sideways passing. But I think he still does it. Still does some good things. Not obviously prime Matic, but yeah. So there you go. But good to see us win. Anyway, especially after rebounding from 6-1 defeat, and especially to put 4 goals in as well. You could see once we got the second goal, we relaxed. We looked good. Fluent. We look like the team that we were getting win after win after win at the back half of last season before the pandemic hit and stuff like that, like with the games like Brighton and all those sort of games. We looked fluent in the last 10, 15 minutes. Obviously, then Wan-Bissaka added a goal, Bruno added his goal, and we look good. So I'm hoping we can take this momentum into the next game and we can build from there. Our next game, I should have looked this up before coming on here, but our next game is against Chelsea at home. So obviously Chelsea drawing with Southampton today with the Vestergaard late goal. So they're obviously going to want to come back to win. It is at Old Trafford. We haven't won a game at Old Trafford this season. We haven't got any points at Old Trafford this season. So hopefully we can get the 3 points against Chelsea. I think it'd be a good game. Hopefully we can get Cavani into the squad. I don't know if he'll start straight away. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but I don't know if he will. We'll see if he. I don't know if he'll play against PSG. He might be ready. I'm not sure. Might be in the squad. I wouldn't mind even seeing maybe Alex Telles coming for a game. I don't know about where Palestri's at. It'd be interesting to see some changes there. So Martial's not striker. Cavani's clinical finisher. Can have Rashford and Martial on wings because then we have to have only 3 midfielders. Mbappe and Neymar can be stopped by 2 defensive midfielder. I see your point. Cavani is a clinical finisher, but can he still do it? Can he do it for Manchester United? It's a different league. He's not Premier League proven yet. I hope he can be a clinical finisher for us because he's getting paid like one. He's getting paid essentially the same amount as Kane or even more. And Kane is on track for well over 20 goals. Is on track for well over 20 assists. Kane is playing lights out at the moment. But hopefully Cavani can come in and score some goals. But I can see because Scholes obviously said that Martial's not a striker; he's just a converted winger. But I think Ollie's done some good things with Martial in the starting squad. So I wouldn't give up on Martial just yet as a striker. But and obviously the brain fade from him, Lamella should have got sent off, but that's in the last review. Went on that. Sorry, my grammar mistakes. Lol. Yeah, that's fine, man. I'm exactly the same if I'm typing stuff, so don't worry about that. So I don't worry. Cavani's ready. He will dominate. He will do it. Trust me. He is greedy bastard. He will score from everywhere. Yeah, I hope he does. I really hope he does, Mikel. I really do. I really hope he comes in and he starts off with a bang, and then we can have that squad depth. So I wouldn't mind seeing some different things, maybe seeing Martial and Cavani up front as partnership, seeing Rashford and Cavani as partnership, seeing Cavani up front on his own. I'd like to see a few different things, and we should be trying these things because I don't see us winning the title. So we have got this time to try some different things and see what happens because we need to get through this season and we need to hopefully get to top 4, which doesn't look. We haven't got an amazing chance, but we're not out of it. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the season. But there you go. Longest review. So thank you especially for Mikel Urban for leaving all your comments. And it's been very good chatting with you through this live stream. But and yeah, I'm glad I went for nearly 35 minutes. But if you did tune in live and or you're watching on playback, thank you very much for watching, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All support is much appreciated. I rate Martial high like you, but don't want to experiment. I don't want to see wholesale changes. Just maybe a couple of different things. So maybe Martial on a wing, Cavani up front, maybe Martial there. Just some squad depth and just some rotation is all I'm looking for. So there you go. But also, follow my social media links in the description below, and turn notifications on so you miss when I go live. I'll be live for the next Manchester United game against Chelsea next weekend. And I'll also be doing a preview and a review for the AFL Aussie Rules Grand Final that's coming up. So if you are interested in watching that, make sure you tune in for those as well next week. So I am out of here, and I'll see everyone in the next video. I'm out. Cheers.